Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Alondra. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
Welcome to School Life Talks, our weekly podcast where we talk about everything pertaining to children with special needs. And just a reminder to everyone that this podcast was started to just provide inspiration and hope, as well as provide useful strategies to parents of children with special needs. So we always say we're a community and we are here to help each other. And this week's topic, again, is on financial resources that children with special needs and their families can access that will help relieve some of the burdens that go into taking care of children with special needs. As you all know, whether you're just a friend or you're a family member, you know that whenever we have a family wherein there are children with special needs, there's some more costs involved than, say, if you just have typically developing children,
Right.
because there are so many therapies that children have to get in order to function at their highest level, as well as we have children who have physical disabilities that may need more equipment for walking, equipment for positioning. Also, we have children who need more sensory support, so we have to spend money on sensory materials. So there are a lot of costs, that extra costs that go in to having kids with special needs. And then not only that, we still have to put our kids in the same activities like typical kids, because our kids also might want to do dance class or karate or go to camp. So it's very, very important that we do everything that we can to support families with special needs children. So again, welcome. I am Dr. Cecelia Lynch. I'm a pediatric occupational therapist. That's my full-time job. And we have Jen, the parent, who is my co-host. So Jen, just reintroduce yourself to families tonight.
Yep, I am Jennifer. I have two children, two boys, and they have their own needs, and it's amazing. And we have a lot of energy over here, I will say. So, yep, I'm just here to talk and learn along with everyone else.
Awesome. And again, tonight we have Mrs. Alondra Mustafa, who last week was with us and provided some great information on the different financial resources that are out there for families. And tonight she's back with part two because she has so much information
Yes.
that she wants to share. So, Alondra, you can introduce yourself again.
Hi, everybody. My name's Alondra, and I am a parent to four little boys, ages 12, 7, 4, and 1. And my two older ones have special needs specifically. They are a little bit more on the medically fragile side. They're in diapers, wheelchairs, and nonverbal. So I like to give my perspective on that side, but I'm here to serve all. I worked in the past as a special ed teacher for the county I live in and also for our early intervention program for the state. So I did therapy with kids in the homes. And now I help advocate for families, help connect people with resources, free monies, free stuff, anything we can get.
Awesome, awesome. So, Alondra, last week wasn't enough time to cover all of the various resources that are out there for families to access. So tonight you brought some of your favorite things, and you have some more information for us on specific programs, grants, and funding that parents could access. So um, before we get started with that list, Jen, do you have anything you wanted to share with us from last week, or anything you want to start out with for the
Oh,
conversation
well,
tonight?
I guess from leaving it from last week, I actually did collect with Alondra, and we spoke about the ways that I can get some of these services because I am a full-time working mom and I'm a single mom, so it's a lot. And so being able to know where to go, where to start, the fact that just it alarmed me when she said not to date paperwork. Like I would just automatically go ahead and date, and to think that I would have to go back for that little thing is just it's a lot that goes into it. So it's good to know. Good to hear. I'm just here to listen. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. That was a real good tip with the paperwork,
Yeah.
and for that particular program. Which program was that again? Oh, that was a Katie Beckett. That was a Katie Beckett. And Katie Beckett, as you all know, is that program. Just tell us a little bit about the Katie Beckett again, Alondra. What specifically was the Katie Beckett?
Pediatric is basically a waiver that helps parents and families who do not qualify for the SSI program for their child to qualify for Medicaid. It's non-income based, so it doesn't matter if the family's a millionaire. We just have to prove the child's diagnosis for them to be able to receive straight Medicaid. So that's Katie Beck, and the process is fairly long. The application is fairly scary. So the reason for not dating the information is you don't want it once you turn in the application, it's like a little clockwork start. So you don't want that to expire on you and I have to return everything in and fill everything out again.
Yeah, as we all know, it takes so much work and effort to get all of those documents signed by the different people with their reports and surveys and questionnaires. It's a lot. So it's a great tip.
And you know what? We here on the show, we can provide like overview of things, but sometimes just hearing about the different programs can really just help individuals. Like we don't have all of the information here, but for example, we're mentioning Katie Beckett. If you feel like this is something you and your family or family member or friend can benefit from, please go to Google, Google Katie Beckett and do some little more research, because we can only provide so much information on the podcast. We're trying our best to give everyone as much information as possible, but I know you guys know we can't give, there's not enough time. But guess what? At least you know that we're here for you and we're doing our best to impart information for families to look further into and to get them, because a lot of these programs are government-based programs, and you know anything that has to do with government-based always comes with a lot of paperwork. But as much as we can help you guys through the process, we're going to be here for you guys. All right, so that was good that you got that, and I hope other parents got other information from I'm getting a little feedback. Other parents got information from last week's program. So tonight I'll let Alondra start the program. We'll go on mute. I don't know what's happening with this background noise.
Okay, so I'll start it off with a little bit of information about family support funding. So as we have said before, we're in the state of Georgia, so a lot of this funding is available in Georgia, but I wouldn't know that if it's available in other states because everyone has their different nonprofits and different grants and organizations. But we are in Georgia, so I am talking about Georgia funding. As far as Georgia funding, there is family support funding, and basically what that is free money. It's like a scholarship for special needs families. This scholarship is non-income based. It's basically like a large pool of money. And there's 3 different organizations that handle this money. So you can apply with either one of them, but not all of them. So you cannot get the money more than once. You can be awarded up to $3,000 for a year for your special needs child. And all it requires is you have to obviously fill out an application, turn in an IEP, and some form of, you have to prove your child's diagnosis. It's diagnosis based. So like I said, it's non-income based. Doesn't matter how much money you make. You don't have to turn in your taxes or anything like that. You just have to prove your child's diagnosis. And in proving that, you'll have access to $3,000. Now, this $3,000 is not money that you will ever see. So you're never going to get a check in the mail. You're never going to see this money in cash. This is money that solely exists in your child's name, and the organizations that help disperse this money will send it to whatever company organization that you have picked or chosen to use this money for. There are 3 organizations. The first one is Bobby Dodd Institute. The second one is In Community. And the third one is Viewpoint Health. I have not had personally much success reaching Viewpoint Health, so I usually don't recommend that you go there. Last time I heard there's one person running it, so there's not much communication back and forth through that side. So I would advise apply through either Bobby Dodd or In Community. I know that Bobby Dodd for the year, as far as funding, their funding runs like July to June is when their funding comes in. Normally people think it starts like in January, but the funding for the state is July through June. So funding for this pool of money that I'm talking about has is aspirated for the year. So there's no more right now. So if you were to apply, there is no money there right now. You would have to wait until July. But the nice thing is, I always tell parents, like, go ahead and just sign up. There's usually a wait list. Go ahead and sign up so that when the money does come in, maybe it'll be your turn to be able to get on the list and be able to sign up with them. And as far as from the 3 organizations, Bobby Dodd, In Community, and Viewpoint Health, I personally, I am part of Bobby Dodd Institute with my oldest, so I can speak for them. And the money that they award, I personally use it for activities in the community. So we get awarded. There's a list. They send you like a list of different services that you can use the money towards. I like to use it for being more in the community. So we have free passes, like family passes, yearly passes to the Fernbank Museum, the zoo, the aquarium, children's museum, the Atlanta Botanical Gardens. And so these are family passes that not only am I taking my children who are special needs, who require consistency, persistency, and just repetitiveness of the same activity, but also the rest, their siblings. So it's a nice interaction, it's a nice family outing. And these memberships are expensive. I think like the zoo and aquarium was like 300 something. So this is nice. Not everybody has access to this, but this scholarship and specifically makes it possible for our family. Now, the money can also be used for other things. This is what I choose to use it for, but you can use it for lawyers. You can use it for respite. You can use it for modifications of the home. If you have a wheelchair user, or somebody with special needs, special equipment, special clothing, therapies, like hippotherapy, aqua therapies, music therapy, activities that they can join, special needs, like swimming, just a plethora of things. So I always say this is something that in our case, we benefit as a family, but this is something that could be tailored just to the special likes and interests of your child. Um, Extracurricular activities are expensive. I have 4 boys, so money runs thin, and not always everybody's able to do the activities, and this makes it possible. So that's something nice that I always like to say. Um, and and aside from these services, that this money that can go to those services of your choice, they also help with. Last week we talked about the waivers, the now comp waiver. They help you with paperwork for them. They help you for SSI. They help you for different paperworks for the state. Uh, they help kind of gather your mind together and fill those out and mark the correct stuff. So there's somebody that's overlooking your case, your caseworker, and they kind of hold your hand and they help with all of that. They provide respite care, and not only there's 2 scholarships. Most people don't know. There's the traditional one through the Bobby Dodd Institute, which is up to $3,000, and they give 1,500 right now. But if you kind of push them a little bit, you're able to get the rest. But they also have another scholarship for your more medically fragile children. And that one goes up to, I want to say, like 28,000, and that one's more for on the side of respite, medical supplies, medical equipment, and special medical clothes for caregivers, because sometimes some of our medically fragile children, they need to be watched and supervised around the clock. So you have children that need to be supervised even while they sleep. So this makes it possible to pay for those extra hours too. And that's one is your intensive family support scholarship. So those families can apply for that. And that's a one-time award. So if you get it one year, most likely you won't be able to get it next year unless you fill out the paperwork for the now comp. Their main thing is they want to put you on the now comp list. So they make sure that you're on the now comp list to be able to be awarded again. Do you guys have any questions? Cece, I cannot hear you. Doctor.
Sorry. Apparently it wasn't my thing that's causing that background. I don't know where that's coming from. But so there are 2 scholarships that you mentioned. So one is the up to $3,000 that you can get through either Bobby Dodd, in community, or Viewpoint Health.
Just Bobby Dodd. Just Bobby Dodd.
Just Bobby Dodd. Oh, Bobby. Okay, that will give you that one. So how do we contact Bobby? That is there. How do we, like, say I wanted to apply for the scholarship? What would be the process for applying for that scholarship with Bobby Dodd?
So you go to the Bobby Dodd Institute, BDI, I believe. I don't know. I don't have the website on the top of my head. But if you go to their website, Bobby Dodd Institute, and there's a section that has it's like on the upper right hand corner, and it has a little drop down list. You're gonna look for family support funding, and there, when you go there, it's gonna say apply now, and you just apply. Okay. And they'll give you a list of stuff. Like I said, it would be nice to have your IEP in hand, something that proves your child's diagnosis, like if it's autism, psychological report. In my case, my children's genetic report, something that you can upload so that you can prove the child's diagnosis, because that's pretty much the sole qualification. And funds are available. They start, like I said, July until they ran out. This year they ran out, I believe, in March. So
you apply early, or you just
everybody's awarded the money in July. So
right, but do you apply anytime? You can apply at any time, but it's not available till July.
The money usually, like this year, like I said, it ran out in March. Mm-hmm. So you can apply now. Just because you apply like right now, it doesn't mean you might qualify in July. You might not qualify. In my case, I applied during COVID time. It took about a year or 2. So And so that's why I said, get your foot in the door, get on the wait list.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know right now how long the wait list is, but just put your application in and be persistent. Like, don't be scared to send out an email and say, hey, where am I at? Because in my case, I got lost. Like, my child's name got lost, and like
Hmm.
limbo. And they were like, oh, yeah, we see him here. And he was just there. And I had to advocate for him and say, hey, we really need this money. It's something that would really benefit our family. What can you do to bring us back up into the light? So just be persistent, be annoying. I mean, be that squeaky wheel. I mean, yeah, they nobody's gonna know unless you say something. I
Right.
quiet, and it was 1 year just of nothing. So just be the squeaky wheel, email, um, and that should get it running. But yes, it's not going to be an automatic. Hey, you're in. Like,
Okay.
it's going to be like, we received your application. It will have contact information there. Reach out maybe 3 months later, just periodically to see where you're at. Like I said, this is free money. So if you don't use it, you lose it. And but it's there.
Okay. Question. So that's for the Bobby Dodd up to 3,000. The one that covers the medical equipment, the intensive.
That one,
Um.
Bobby Dodd as well. They
Oh,
have scholarship.
they're both. There are two scholarships available through Bobby Dodd.
Yeah, you have
Okay.
traditional and then your intensive.
Okay. So what does the In Community and Viewpoint Health? What do they offer?
Well, they offer the same. It's the same pool of money. Like I said,
Oh, okay.
of money. I don't know the details for them too, because Viewpoint Health, I haven't had much success getting in touch with them, so I don't always
Okay.
throw their name out there. But I do want people to know that.
No, but they are. I had a patient wherein Viewpoint Health was who was paying for their therapies because their family made too much money from Medicaid, and they got, I don't know how they got the money through Viewpoint Health, but what I would send my therapy bill to Viewpoint Health and they would cut me a check. So the family had a certain amount of money to choose to spend. It wasn't unlimited, because I remember that I also had to scale my therapy services so that he would get enough therapy sessions for the amount of money that was there, that so that therapy was effective. But I ended up not charging the usual rate for therapy, because I wanted to help the child. So, and I knew he only had this much money, so I was able to work with the families, and Viewpoint Health that's where the money was coming from. But I don't know how they got the money. I don't know what the process is, but good that you mentioned it though, so families can look into it. We don't have the full details, but it's Viewpoint Health. And of course, our show is based in Georgia, so most of the information that we're given is really for Georgia residents at this time. If you're in another state, there might be something else in your state, and that's funding. So maybe you can Google funding for special needs, and if you're in a different state, so you can see some of these things that are available in your state. All right, awesome. So that's the scholarship monies that's available to families to be used for things that is related to the child. And it can be anything. Once you have your IEP and proof of your diagnosis, and you complete an application, and it's not guaranteed you're going to get it, right? Because it depends. It's like a first come, first serve basis. Once that money is eaten up, it's done. And the people who, if you apply and you don't get it, say the year it finishes in, you applied, it finishes in March, and you didn't get it, do you suggest that parents reapply, or are they on a waiting list and they will eventually catch up?
I mean, they're on a waiting list. Like in my situation, I was on a waiting list for almost 2 years. So when I gave them my child's name, my child's date of birth, they were able to pull up my kid. But I like I said, you have to be persistent and be annoying. Like email, email, and try to um, get let them hear your child's name over and over, so they're like, okay, we're tired of dealing with this person. Let's get them on the list. But here,
So when you apply, you don't have to reply. You just have to keep calling and checking where you are and where you are in the on the list.
yes, and there's
Okay.
information there, and you can reach out. And usually, what happens once you've been approved, a caseworker will reach out and they say, "Hey, when are you?" They'll put an appointment with you through the computer, through the phone, and they'll say, "Hey, let's meet. Let's talk about your child's needs." And in that application, it also says, like, what makes your child happy? What is something that is important to your child? And then what is important to the child's well-being? So different things. Like in my case, my child loves cooking and cleaning. Now, what's important to him is somebody to supervise him, somebody to help him with his daily ADLs. But it has that, and that's how you come up with the goals, and that's how you come up with how the money will be awarded, as far as where you will be able to spend the money. It's a nice kind of like um, like a brainstorming process. Your application is kind of like your brainstorming process on what you could use the money for. But yes, like make noise, reach out. Um, I wasn't like every single week emailing them or calling them, but I did check in periodically. Hey, don't forget about me. I'm still active. And I know other families that applied at the same time as me, they didn't reach out and they never saw the money. They never got approved.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much for that one. What's one of your next favorite programs?
Jen, did you have a question?
I do. So when using the services, like I would like something like that for my son to. He once had adaptive swim therapy, but I just can't do it anymore financially. And so that's something that would be big for him, just to know water safety. Because we're out here by the lake and it's terrifying. Would I just call and say, do you accept the foundation, or how does that work? Do they give you a card?
So the credit, it's basically a credit that's giving in your child's name. And the organization, once the child has been approved, they email you a list of all the providers, all the approved providers that they work with.
Right,
You will look through that provider list,
right,
and you'll be able to pick, oh, this is aqua therapy. And depending, I guess, on your address, you'll be able to find the closest to you.
right. Okay.
To
And
be
then you just call them and say you have the funding.
So then like I said, you have a caseworker. So you're in
Oh,
communication with your caseworker, and you would say, you would email your caseworker, and she's the one that handles like your funding. And basically, you turn in like a request, like a little request form,
okay.
saying, I would like to use, and it doesn't all have to be at one time. Like I don't turn in one invoice, one request. Like I said, we did, they're all separate requests. But my children, aside from like the community stuff, like the memberships, we also do camps. So summer camp that they pay for. So that's at a separate time, because the opening for the camps doesn't open till a later date. So you're turning in these requests throughout the year, but they're from a list of their approved vendors.
Got it. Okay.
Look through the list of the approved vendors, you pick the ones, and then you email your caseworker and say, hey, I would like my child to be in aqua therapy with so-so's company. And then usually it'll have, like when you go on their website and stuff, usually I have pricing. They want to know what the pricing is so they can deduct it. Um, and then you're having to keep track of that pricing, and they're also keeping track for you, but you need to keep more track of it.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. All right, Alondra. So, what's next on your list of financial resources to help our families out there?
So next is something when I talked to Jen last week and we were kind of just chatting a little bit, I actually texted her. It's a new resource for Georgians. Georgia recently came out with a website for it says it was made for families with children with autism. It's called Georgia Autism Hub, and basically I like it because it's a nice resource list. So it's an ABC order. um, I basically list a bunch of different resources for Georgians. It has a quick like summary, and then it has a little link on how to visit that website. For example, like Jen, I'm using your example, Jen. Like you were interested in aquatherapy. There's a resource there for angelfish. Angelfish does aquatherapy for children with special needs. So you would click and you could go directly to that. And I like this resource. Like I said, it was made for children of for parents for children of parents with special needs children.
What
By
is the name of it again, Jen? I mean, Alondra, what's the name of the autism resource?
GeorgiaAutismHub.org.
Georgia.
Autismhub.org. And this barely came out last year, 2024. I think it was during the summer. I got it like in September. Um, Even though it's like targeting more like your autism families, because like it's since it's an ABC order, the beginning organizations have more autism in the name of it. Honestly, I give it to all families. It's got our state's early intervention program. Babies Can't Wait on there. That's for all families. Um, it's got a bunch of different resources that I've used, and my children don't have autism. There are more on the medically fragile side, but we've used a lot of those resources. So I like to give them to all families. And I just like to let them know, hey, the beginning ones are targeting more of your autism families, but these are resources that anybody can sign up for. And it's just drop down list of ABC ordered resources, and you just kind of read and pick what you like and you follow the link.
And so you're saying not, although it's called Georgia Autism Hub, they have a bunch of different resources that anyone can
Yeah, like
benefit from.
children of all abilities can join. If you go on there, it's got, like I said, it the Babies Can't Wait is the Georgia's early intervention program that takes everybody. It doesn't, not just children with autism. If you scroll down a little bit, and then I'll show you. See angelfish, that's aquatic therapy, adaptive swimming programs for all children. My children have been in that program and they don't have autism. So these programs can benefit all children. Yes, it was made mostly for children with autism, but these programs, a lot of them, if you go up a little bit, yeah, down, sorry, down, down, more down, where you'll see Bobby Dodd Institute. Keep going down. I just talked about it. There's Babies Can't Wait, go down. Bobby Dodd Institute, we talked about that one. Debbie Dobbs, right there. They help with like paperwork for applying for different stuff. They have a bunch of different institutes. Just because the website says autism, this can be shared with all families. Obviously, the ones that have specifically the extra special people, this one is for everybody. In North Sea, in Easter Seals, North Georgia, that one is for everybody. Babies Can't Wait is partners with them. Um, Obviously, the ones that have autism in them, their main emphasis is autism. Focus is a very good one. Um, that's one of my favorites, and I'll kind of jump over to them. Focus, which is right there. It's Friends of Children Under Stress, and that's what it stands for. It's a wonderful organization. They do yearly educational um, uh, they do like a whole what is it called, educational conferences. They do one educational conference a year. It's usually right after New Year's. This year it was on February 1st. But basically, they have you pay. I think I paid $10 or something for me and my husband, and they provide childcare, so you can take your special needs child there, and then you can go upstairs. It's just like a church, and it's located in Decatur. That's where they usually do it. And basically, they have educational workshops, so there's usually like four at a time, and you pick whichever one you want to go to, and you sit in on it. I've sat in on it, different topics. I have four boys, so my oldest one recently is becoming a teenager. I sat in on one for puberty on boys. There was one on puberty for girls. There was lawyers talking about Katie Beckett, SSI, all these hot topics. Anything, interactions between your neurotypical kids, like sibling interaction with their special needs, with your special needs children. It's just a wealth of knowledge. I love attending. And then let's say that you wanted to attend like two workshops at the same time. They pre-record their workshops, so you can go back and listen to it. They have stuff on guardianship when the children get a little bit older, turning 18. I mean, they have share groups. They do family outings. They have camp. Just a lot of nice stuff. Yeah, I use it majorly for educating myself.
Awesome. So this GeorgiaAutismHub.org, that website opens up a whole nother world of resources. This is really amazing because they cover I hate how their name is so makes it think it might just be autism. However, it's for all families and children with special needs. Doesn't matter what the special needs are.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, like we could literally, some of some of my favorite resources are here, right here where you just stopped, Lecotech of Georgia. I love them too. My boys have attended Lecotech since they were little. Lecotech is basically a play library. You you basically go in, and they lend you. They have like a play therapist, somebody that's trained to work with special needs children. It's usually like a special ed teacher, and based on your children's interests, they lay out toys, and they teach you and help your child play with them. We Because I have four boys, our teacher, she 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 works with helping my neurotypical kids play with my special needs kids. So we do it as a family, all four boys, and she teaches them how to play together. And this is like basically the toys that you play with in that session. They lend them to you, and you get to take them home like a library book. And you keep them for the month, and then you return them back the next month. um, and it's for all abilities. So let's say that your child, like, is very, like this child is very medically fragile, doesn't move. They have computer programs where it tracks the children's eyesight, and they can move and do stuff with their eyes. They also have family outings. They do like a great Halloween party every year, and Christmas party. They have a lot of stuff, and a lot of their toys are adaptive. Like you see the little boy there, it's got like the button to start the bubbles. It's for all abilities. So this is something nice. Also, it helps when I worked as a Babies Can't Wait uh, special instructor. It gives you ideas on how to use things differently, and also lets you try out toys that maybe you've seen, but you don't want to invest in it. You can borrow it for a month, and then you really like it, then maybe you can buy it. But it's a nice way to try something out. And my kids are always excited. They're like, oh, new toys. So it's something that we get to keep. And it's something that, depending on your family income, it's free, or you can pay a little bit for the year.
Where is the Lecotech? I remember they used to be in Decatur as well. Are they still in Decatur?
They have multiple offices. So they have one in Decatur, they have one in Duluth, they have multiple offices. Now the only downside is you have to go to them. So they have their locations. You have to physically drive to them, and you do have an appointment. So you have to physically make it, propose yourself to get there. But it's wonderful. This is a wonderful resource too. And this one, like I said, depending on your income, you don't have to pay anything.
Yeah, and the thing is, I remember working with children who needed those adapted toys, wherein you can buy them in the store. I remember I had children who were visually impaired that I was able to get toys for them that help them. Any toy that's adaptive, you can get from the library. And as you say, you you can borrow it and play with it, and then when your child outgrows it, you give it back. So you're not left with all these toys that you're like, oh, my child no longer plays with this. So this is really, really a great resource that I didn't know it had expanded. I thought it had closed down, because I remember when I first moved to Georgia in 2002 that I went and I utilized the Lecotech, but I wasn't hearing about it as much. So, wow, thank you so much for informing us that Lecotech is still around. We can go there and borrow toys and different adaptive equipment, play equipment for our kids to use. Awesome. I'm gonna go back. Did you need me to be on the page for let me go back to back to the Autism Hub. All right. Is any more of your programs on this wonderful website we have here? Oh, Parent to Parent, which I spoke a little bit about last week. I had someone who was going to come on and talk to us about Parent to Parent, but you want to share with our listeners what Parent to Parent is, Alondra?
Yeah, so in a synopsis, just keeping it short and simple, it's like a phone book of all the resources that exist in Georgia. So how it works is you call them up, you tell them, hey, I'm looking for aqua therapy centers close to me. I'm doing that for Jen. And they have a directory. They have a directory of different resources that they have gathered throughout the years. And this organization is called Parent to Parent because it's parents of special needs children that provide resources for other parents of special needs children. So I've used it before, and basically you tell them what you need, and they email you just a list. It's sweet and simple and direct, and you have it there. So it's tailored to your needs based on what you need. And yeah, like I don't know if anybody knows what a phone book is anymore, but it's like a phone book of all the resources for Georgia families, and based on your address.
Awesome. All right. Anything else on this page?
Let's see. There's one. Special needs respite. Yes. Special needs respite of Georgia. Basically, it's you can click on it, Dr. Cece.
Okay.
Basically, it's a scholarship for respite care. I've gotten it awarded before in the past, and they basically award you about $400 every 3 months. So you can get it up to 4 times. So that's up to what, 1,600 for the year. And it basically you use it towards taking care of yourself. I don't know if I've mentioned in the past. I had a stroke last year, in May, I suffered a stroke. The right side of my body was paralyzed, and I was unable to talk. And I was able to get the special needs respite. Basically, it's the application process is you have to write a paragraph of why do you need this scholarship, and afterwards somebody contacts you and tells you you've been awarded or not. They're not super quick, like it's not going to be like a week later. I think it was like a month or something later, but then they contact you and they let you know. And like I said, with the other program, like Bobby died, you never see the money, so they're not sending you a check or anything. Basically, you it's used for you to take care of yourself. So my neighbor was helping me for free during the time um, that I got the stroke. I was scared of driving. I was really scared that I was gonna have another stroke. So basically, she was just doing it out of the kindness of her heart, and that's where where I found this special needs respite. I wanted her to get compensated for doing something nice for me. So they award you, like I said, they awarded me $400 every 3 months. So you pay the caregiver as much as whatever it is, per hour that you feel. Obviously, the less you get more hours, the more you get less hours. But but it was something nice. I was able to go out to dinner with my husband and have a date, and
Aw.
that's what we used it for. After being in the hospitals and just having just a scary experience happening to me, it was a really really nice thing, and that was it. I just said why. What I just wrote a paragraph about why I needed this scholarship. So I think it's something that people donate money into and stuff. And in order to reapply, you have to show proof that you shared this information. They want to see that you have shared it, and then you can be awarded it again. And caregiver basically signs up, puts their bank information in there, and the money is deposited. You, as the parent, you send the invoice.
Wow. Wow. That's so good that they have. So respite is normally paying someone to take care of the child. It's like not babysitting per se, but somebody else to sit in when the parents are not able to sit in, correct?
Yeah, and this is I mean, I like this company specifically. This special needs respite scholarship. I like it because this is like I was able to pick somebody that I trusted, which was my neighbor, and I was able to compensate her, and she just had to sign up with them. But respite is available throughout the entire state. So, like organizations like Focus that I talked about before, they offer respite opportunities. They have like every so often, I think it's like quarterly. They'll say, "Hey, we'll have respite this day," and most of the time it's free. They just want a donation, and they'll say from this hour to this hour, and you drop off your kids and you can, I don't know, go get your nails done, go take a nap, I don't know, something, anything. Just, self-care is real. So you really, I mean, if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of your loved ones? So we need that extra help. And don't be scared to say, hey, I need help, because you know well, don't look at what happened to me, but burnout is real, and especially in caregivers and in the special needs world.
Awesome.
But
All
yeah,
right.
I mean, you can go through the website and it's got so much nice stuff. It just, kind of browse through it, pick what you like and what you don't, and kind of look through it. But they have a bunch of information, and this is not all the resources in Georgia. This is just a couple that were put in a nice website. This website was made by parents of children with autism, people with autism, and professionals that work with children with autism. That's why the name Georgia Autism Hub, but the use of it is not limited to people who have autism, and it's open to everybody.
Wow. It's an amazing website, and I love the layout of it, how simple it is to navigate. Like you go through and they describe what each program is, and then you can click on it and look further. So this is a really, really good website for families and friends to go to learn about some more. And as Alondra said, this is not all of the information, and it's not all of the resources that's available, but it's really good resources and information that's on this website. It's a really, really good website. This is just another way, another place where parents and people who work with children with special needs really kind of come together to form that village that we talk about every week on this program. That this is how we're doing it. Like we're using this podcast to share this information. There are people out there who are putting information together on a website because we do understand that our families need support, our children need support, and it's great that we're forming such a village. Like the village is becoming wider and wider and wider, and it's getting better and better every day for our families. So I'm grateful that I'm doing this, and I know that Jen and Alondra are happy as well. That I know y'all get a kick out of really just providing information to families, knowing that you're helping your fellow parents.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I always say, why not? Like, it's something that helps me and something that's available. Why not? Like, we got to help each other. We're a small community. Why gatekeep the information? You know, the people that are benefiting are the children, our children. I guess the only resource on there that I didn't see that I really just kind of want to touch on, and I know we're almost out of time. I'm like, no, I have so much information. There is one more organization, and they're called FODAC, Friends of Disabled Adults and Children. And I love this organization because once upon a time, when my child's insurance did not cover the equipment he needed to do better, to succeed in life. Basically, he didn't walk. He could not stand upright by himself, and his insurance would not cover a walker. I had to basically carry him everywhere. And then I got a second child, so I had to carry two. And they did not want to cover a walker, and FODAC helped me a lot. Basically, for a one-time fee, you register with them, and a one-time fee of $25, you have access to all of their medical supplies. So I've been able to get a posterior walker, which is a couple of hundreds of dollars. They give it to you. And then after that one-time fee, like you're forever in their system. Then he had hip and leg surgery, and he required a prone standard. This thing is like $3,000. We By the time you get fitted and you get it ordered and everything, it's like half a year that has passed. He had just had hip and leg surgery, so he needed it like now. I called them up and I was able to get this. I used it for as long as we needed it, and I returned it, and then now another family can use it. So the products that are here, they're medical supplies that have been used. They've been sanitized, they've been cleaned, but it's just like a rotating door, like a thrift shop for special needs equipment. And the thing I like about them is not only do they help, like they have a pediatric side, and they also have like an adult side. So I know my neighbor, she was really sick. She was in coma and she had to come back home. She was able to get a hospital bed, and she has a hospital bed in her house because of them. So they not only benefit our elderly, but our children, which kind of go hand in hand and overlap in a lot of places. But that's a wonderful organization, and they do like I know they have like a walk and roll, like fundraisers throughout the year, where people can kind of get together. They have a Christmas party. It's a nice organization to support and also be a part of, because most of the time, at least with my family, like my children outgrow, like your children outgrow clothing. My children outgrow their medical equipment,
Right.
wheelchairs and stuff. And thankfully, I'm lucky enough that my children have Medicaid now, so it's paid for. But not everybody is lucky enough. So What you could be just collecting dust in the corner of your house could be helping somebody else.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, all right. So we did it. We covered a lot. So
Good.
let's just recap last week's show. We'll go down the list that we spoke about. We'll just, in a brief synopsis, just hit on the highlights of the programs of financial resources that we spoke about. But I must say that website, the Autism Hub website, really covers a lot of the programs that we spoke about. The Georgia Autism Hub.org website, it pretty much has a good overview of most of what we spoke about. But just in a nutshell, Alondra, just give just a list of the different programs that we spoke about last week and this week, just to summarize.
I know that last week we started off talking about early intervention services, specifically Babies Can't Wait, and in our state of Georgia, transitioning into the school systems, what the process looks like and the differences. We also talked about the 4 different waivers in Georgia: the NOW, the COMP, the GAP, and Katie Beckett. So that was the main meat of our show last week.
Right. And we spoke about those who didn't qualify for Medicaid and getting the Katie Beckett program, as well as just getting SSI for children, and how that works together. Awesome. So that was pretty much last week, and this week was a little more fun. A little bit more fun programs. They sounded, last week it was more about like the real state type government programs, but this week was more about resources that are available through funding and organizations that are not necessarily state-based. So let's recap those for tonight again.
So today we talked about family support funding, specifically the pool of money that includes Bobby Dodd in community and Viewpoint Health, and accessing those free monies for families with special needs children. We also talked about the Autism Hub website, which encompasses some of my favorite resources for the state of Georgia: FODAC, Focus, LECOTEC, Extra Special People, ESP, just Angelfish, just a plethora of different services. And like I said, these are not limited to children with autism. It's open to everybody. They're good resources for all special needs families.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I know later on, Alondra, like, oh, Dr. Cece, we forgot we needed to talk about. There's so many things.
I'm like, oh, I forgot to talk. Actually, free diapers.
Oh, let's talk about free diapers real quick.
So there's a lot of organizations. They're mostly it's through the child's insurance, and they'll cover free diapers for your special needs child as long as they're over the age of 2. You can get diapers for your child, and they are delivered to your house. And depending on what diaper your child likes, they have different styles. One of my favorite organizations is called KidMed, and they're actually an organization that has special needs children of their own. The founders have 2 children with autism as well. So I always like to support some of the people that look closer like us.
Yeah.
Than some of the big wigs. So I'm always like, hey, we gotta help each other out.
Right.
Awesome. All right, Jen, before we go, what's your take?
Thank you for everything. I'm so excited to look out for those Zoom memberships and just the different things in the community that we should be doing and will be doing. So
Yes.
thank you.
The money's there, the scholarships up there. Just do your due diligence. Just put your foot in the door and just sign up. You
Yeah.
won't regret it. And then you just renew yearly. So you're not having to do this all over every single year. It's just upkeep. But getting your foot in the door is the first step.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome. So Jen, can you think of what you will be is there anything that you're thinking, I'm gonna fill out that form, I'm gonna
Yeah, the Bobby Dodd one for sure.
okay.
Oh, Dr. Cece, I also have, okay, so this is just like a little tip. Anytime you go to your doctor, they usually, like if you go to CHOA, they have a social worker that works on site. Don't be scared to ask. Hey, you can ask them as well. They work as a good provider for whatever you need. They have social workers and they have directories of different services. You can always ask your social worker or your doctor, and they'll print out a list as well.
That's a good tip. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thanks everyone for coming on tonight. Of course, this is going to be on replay on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. There's so much information here. And I see in the comments, people are commenting on how insightful and so much information they're learning here. I'm learning a lot here, and I'm getting back into the swing of things, of knowing what is available to the the families and children that I do serve on a daily basis. So I am so grateful to have you on, Alondra. And listen, we only spoke about some of the resources. Know that you're a resident guest. Anytime anytime you'd like to come on, just let us know.
For sure.
Our next podcast topic will be on self-care for moms. We'll be talking a lot about, well, it's Mother's Day coming up, so I've decided I would do it more self-care for mothers, but parents on a whole, grandparents, anyone who have family members with children with disabilities, anybody who have children, please come on, because self-care is self-care. You don't have to have a child with a disability to know how to manage your stress and provide yourself some self-care. So next week's topic will be about that. So Alondra, if you want to come on next week, I would love to have you on. Jen, anything to say before we leave tonight?
No, just like, comment, share, please. I think families need to know this stuff. So thank you.
All right, great. All right, guys. Alondra, again, thank you. Jen, my co-host, thank you. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.